friends, it's Chris here for your May blog class, and today I have a guest with me. This is Sarah.
Hey friends, thanks for inviting me today.
I thought it would be fun if each month I had somebody else from Bo Bunny, so you didn't have to just hear and see me, come and visit and just kind of introduce you to the different people in our office. So this is Sarah, and Sarah and I have been friends for, well, this year's our 12-year friend anniversary. However, she's worked in the office for 4 years, and then prior to that, she did out of the office work for us for 3 years. So she's been with Bo Bunny for quite a while as well. And I'm going to let her tell you what she does here at Bo Bunny, because sometimes we don't really have titles because we do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to let her do that.
One of the worst questions we get is, what do you do? Because everyone here wears so many hats. Everyone pitches in, we're a great team, and we just do what needs to be done. So one of my hats I do is product development, from just
Inception of an idea.
Inception of the idea. That kind of reminded me of conception. We're conceiving these products for you. Then all the way through working with the factories and the samples and tracking everything, and all the way till it gets to you. So another thing I do is I'm Jan's assistant, and that just can be anything, all sorts of fun things. What else? What else do I do?
She always takes the minutes at our meeting and then makes sure that we all stay on task and sends us an email and lets us all know exactly what we're doing. And
I'm the organizer, because at home I'm not so organized.
But she's
here
very
I do
organized here.
So anyway,
so that's what she does.
That's me.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you this month's project, and I'm super excited about it because when I asked you guys what kind of projects you wanted, some of you said that you wanted a heritage album, and most of you said that you liked doing the mini albums. And if that ever changes and you get sick of them, let me know what kind of projects you'd like to do, because I'm open to home decor, whatever. We can just have fun and do whatever you guys like. But this album, I did it as a Father's Day album. You could do it as a heritage album as well. It will be, that's our cover. And then on this album, I didn't do it so that when you open it like that, it's right. I did it so that this is like this.
There's your 2-page layout.
Yeah, 2-page layout right here. So then you've got another page that we're going to be working on today. And then our third page, this will take us the most time today, is the part where the men like to play. I'm going to have Sarah show you that if you pull this out,
I got the page.
I got the page. Voila! So you can put pictures in there, and that's, so I'm gonna show you how to make that today. Little secret hidden pictures. And I'll just show you a sneak peek of the rest of the album. So then next week there's a 2-page, and then on this one we use a little bit of a pattern here and make a flower. And then this one, don't throw away your brad packaging, because that's a little pocket. I don't know if you can see that with your brad packaging. And inside of there, we have a little mini album. And I have not decorated the inside of this album. I'm leaving that to you because this would take us 3 months if I did all these little pages. But out of one sheet of paper, we're going to make this little album that has 12 pages and 6 pockets where you can have tags and stuff coming in and out. And then it has a cute little home right there. And then
it falls out when you flip it over.
You could put some Velcro on that. A couple more pages. Let's get to the fun ones. Okay, and a couple more pages. Okay, now on this last page, we're going to learn how to, I have to hold it up a little bit. So on this, we've got a little flip thing going on. So as we pull this down, our pages flip up. So we're going to learn how to do that on our last month. Anyway, so that's just kind of an overview of the album. So I hope you guys are going to have fun making it, because it'll be such a great gift for Dad. So we will get started. All right, we're going to try things a little different this week and give you the video from your perspective. And Sarah's still here with me, and she's going to work on her album as we go through this. And throughout the week, she's going to go home and she's going to make hers into a heritage album. So you'll be able to see how it looks with photos in it and used with a different subject. So to get started, I went in a different order than what the pages are, so I'll just kind of show you the page as we go. On my album, I sanded around the edges of everything I did, even my stickers. I sanded around all the pages. I feel like it just made it show a little bit more.
Makes everything pop.
Yeah, it's personal choice though. If you don't want to sand, you totally don't have to. But that's where I'm at. Also, on your list, I did not tell you that you would need this Weekend Market vintage labels because we use this blue dot and it's not in the 6x6 pad. So you will need a sheet of the Weekend Market vintage labels.
If you can't find it, get the dark denim vintage dot.
Yeah, that would work exactly the same. And if you can't find that or you want to do it right now and you don't have it, you could use a different pattern. It wouldn't give it that much of a different look. So just know that it's okay to change things up a little. Just adds character to your book, and nobody that sees my book is going to see your book, so all is well. So to get started, you are going to need some kind of punch. I used this Marvy Uchida scallop punch, and this one is 3.5 inches. So we're going to punch that out of that blue page, this page. You got one of those. So that's the first thing you're going to need. The second thing you're going to need is a little piece of stripe, and that is out of your 6x6 pad also. And it is 4 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch.
And I don't like to sand mine as much as Chris does, so I just give it a little bit of a worn look. And we're all different, so.
Yeah. So are you going to adhere yours on, or?
Yes. Is it ready to be put on?
Yeah. So our scallop is going to go kind of down in the bottom left corner, but not all the way down. And then that stripe is going to come on from the right side, kind of right in the center of your scallop. Now for this red heart, we used the Wild Berry vintage paper, and I just freehand hearts because I don't really care. A heart's a heart, regardless of what it looks like. But I will give you guys a pattern, so if you want a pattern, you can have one. But it's about a 5-inch heart. So that's out of the Wild Berry vintage paper. And I don't know if many of you guys have played with the vintage papers, but I used them throughout this book, and they are so much fun to use. And really, it would be cute on either side. You could use this brocade side.
So when you do the other side, it's fine.
Or you could have the dots. I think that would be just as cute.
Okay.
All right, for our little banner, I don't have any baker's twine with me, so Sarah's going to use just some brown twine that you can just buy at your hem. And for our little tags, those are 1 inch by 1.5 inch. So cut those little,
they're right here.
Oh, you've got them. Cut these 3 little pieces, and then you're just going to make peaks in them. And there again, there's not really a pattern, just kind of trim them up and make little peaks. And if you wanted to do a bigger word or more, feel free to make more of those and add whatever title you want. You're going to do a heritage album, so you may want more. Have you had any thoughts about what you're going to put?
I'm just going to put either something with how our family began, or just our family name, something to just kind of.
That'll be cute. This is where the story begins, or, you know. And so if you put your title up here, and you didn't put letters on here, it'd be cute. You could embellish it with buttons or anything like that to kind of make it your own. And it's funny, but we're using 3 sets of stickers on this album. They're just such great stickers in the Weekend Market collection. So there's the My Dad, the Priceless, and then the combo sticker. So this one is off of My Dad, it's one of a kind, and this compass is off of the combo sticker. And a technique I kind of use throughout this album is clustering, where you cluster together groups of stickers and embellishments. And you'll notice throughout it, I've just done these little cluster. So we're going to call that the cluster technique.
One of her other favorite things is everything's better in threes. So she has little clusters everywhere.
Yeah, I like things in threes. This is not a good example of it. I don't really have a good example of it right now. But odd numbers are better, and then I usually like to have 3 of something on a page to give yourself a visual triangle. Those are a couple things I always try to keep in mind when I'm making a project. And like I said, there's 3 different stickers, and there's all kinds of sayings about memories and treasures, so you can personalize this however you'd like.
I'm going to leave my banner until next week when I figure out what my saying's going to be.
Excellent. So on to page 2, which is the back side, and you all know that I have a problem with direction. So if you are going to do yours like mine, where it's all the same way, make sure that the hole in your tag is at the bottom. If you would like it so that when sitting on your coffee table it's the right way, then put your hole. Alright, for page 2, you're going to start out with a 5-inch circle. And it's going to go in the bottom right of your page. And it's from the 6x6 pad. You can just use your favorite circle cutter to cut that. And then you are going to do a 3 1/8 inch piece by 2 of that brocade. And it's going to go at the top left, not all the way to the left, but pretty close up there.
And when you can't see.
And after that is where that vintage labels paper is going to come in, and we're going to use the back side of that, and that piece is going to be 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. And it is going to go just like that. Kind of hard to say where that is. Okay, then what would represent our photo is going to be next, and it is 3 1/2 by 5 inches.
But do we want to adhere it all the way? Or
It
just on
depends.
the top?
It depends on.
I just left the bottom empty so we can tuck up underneath it.
Oh yeah, good. Good.
And that only comes from doing that wrong so many times.
Okay, now there's a little circle in your noteworthy. It's a little brown circle. It's about 1 inch, 1 1/2 inches. And it is going to come where your circle and your blue piece meet right there. And it's going to be more onto the circle.
Okay. Oh, more onto the circle.
Yeah, about there.
I should have your showing it.
And then inside your noteworthy there's a strip of stripe. And you're going to cut about 3 inches off of that. And it's going to go right along the bottom of that circle. Then also in your noteworthy, there's a cute little bracket that's a couple different shades of brown. And this is where she didn't adhere at the bottom. She's going to tuck that under the bottom of that photo mat. And it's just going to show out. And leave it a little bit because we're going to add a sticker. So probably about 1 inch out.
Is it all the way over? Yep.
Yep.
I'm overlapping that one a little bit. That's a big inch. And it is what it is.
Yep. Just adds character. Then we're going to take about a 3-inch piece of the
Don't rip it apart when you take it off the paper.
So just about 3 inches of that scalloped ruler that's on the combo sticker. And it's going to go right along the bottom of your photo mat. And then on the last couple of stickers, I've actually used some foam squares to pop those up because I like the book to have different layers and dimensions so it's not just flat. I can just go right along the edge and just kind of meet. Alright, and then we've got the Live and Love sticker and Life's Little Treasure sticker, and then just a little red circle that has a world on it, the world globe. While she's popping up those stickers and putting them on there, I'm going to tell you a little story about this paper. This paper is so detailed. If you get the sheets of it and you look into it, there are so many things. You could play Where's Waldo, but with the weekend market paper. And most of you know Jan Lanoy is the owner of Bo Bunny, and her husband is Don Lanoy, and he actually works here full-time as well, and he does everything from accounts, payable, accounting, handyman, like he does it all. Anyway, he has a very cool office at his house, and we actually went and took pictures. He has all kinds of old toys and trucks and scales and guns, and we went and took pictures, and the magical digital girls turned that into images, and they're all throughout the paper. Also, one of our digital girls,
Ribbon.
had some doilies and some stamps from her grandmother, and she scanned those in, and those images are also in the paper. So as you have your weekend market paper, go through and see what fun treasures you can find in it. And Sarah's just going to tie a little ribbon around this key, and then she's just going to adhere it right on where the brown circle noteworthy is. And really, don't be picky about your ribbon. I use whatever I can reach, because the less I have to get up and down out of my chair, the happier I am. So I just grab whatever's close and use it.
Glue dot?
And I don't have a glue dot, but we're going to glue dot that on
Over there.
later. All right, next, this is going to be the fun page. Get out the page that is the blue polka dot tag.
Okay.
All right, and we are going to start, actually we're probably not going to use the page for a minute. We're going to start by making this, watch again because it's so fun. Pull here, and both sides come out. All right. Okay, we are going to make the tricky window. So you're going to start out with...
Turkey window. That's its name.
You're going to start out with a piece of chiffon, vintage chiffon, that is 10 inches by 4.5. And you're going to fold that right in half. I put the dots to the inside. Now on this...
Am I pressing it all the way?
Yes, press all the way. And on this tricky window, I did not sand because I didn't want to weaken any of the edges. And I feel like when you sand and you loosen the fibers of the paper, it kind of gets weak. So just on this, don't, because we want this to be sturdy and hold up to everybody who's going to want to open and shut it. Okay, so there's your first piece. Then you need a second piece that is this big, which is 5 inches by 4.5. Okay, on this piece, you're going to put the 4.5 at the top and bottom. Flip it over. Sorry, flip it over that way. So you're going to put the 4.5 at the top and the bottom. Then on this side, you're going to go in 1 inch from both sides and cut in 1/2 of an inch, and then cut that out. And it will look like this when you're done.
Okay, let's just...
So I'll put the measurements on the blog post as usual, but that is how you're going to do that. So now we have this guy and then this guy. The next thing you're going to do is get out your grocery sack, and they're noisy. And the piece of grocery sack that you want is 2 3/4 by 7 1/4. So what I do is just get it as flat as I can, and I put it in my trimmer, and I just get a straight edge. At this point, all I'm looking for is to get a straight edge of my bag. Whoever knew you were going to watch a YouTube video about how to cut a grocery bag, right? The things we do. Now I just want to keep it straight so that I can get me a good piece. And it's going to be about 2 3/4. So I've just folded it till I get an edge. And then I'm going to come in here. This is probably going to need a lot of editing. 2 3/4. About right there. Okay, so now I've got a strip. And you actually don't have to cut this part. You can just wait and see how this goes. So you are going to wrap that around here, and we want, so So let's just cut off one side to begin with. On this piece, on these next few pieces, you have to be really careful about where you put your adhesive so that the mechanics will work when it's done. So you're going to want adhesive right along the edge of this, but you're not going to want it on your paper. All right, and then make sure that that's not super tight, but so that you don't have a bunch of buckles. And then just bring this piece over. You want those to match up. And then you can just trim it right there where the adhesive is. Okay, so now this piece is going to be the piece that's going to allow those to turn. So next you need two pieces that are 4x4 of the vintage chiffon. So we've got those two, and then on top of those we're going to adhere two pieces that are 3 3/4 of an inch square of the stamp paper that's inside your 6x6 pad. So stick those guys on there.
On top?
Yeah.
Are they just centered?
Yes, just centered. Okay. All right, this next step is important, and if you don't listen carefully and you do it wrong and then you email me and say that your interactive page is not working, I'm going to say, you didn't listen to me very well. Just kidding, I'm not really going to say that, but
She'll say that to me.
I'll say it to
And
her.
then she'll be nice to you.
Yes. Okay, so where you have your adhesive, you want to put that on the top all the way over to the right. Okay, and then you want the piece that they're going to pull out on the right, you want it to be on the back. So this piece is going to go, oh, it's square, it doesn't matter which way. So it's flush along here, okay, and then I'm going to turn it over, and this is where I'm going to adhere it, right along here, and make sure you don't get on your paper. Does that make sense? Let me show that again. So I've got my adhesive part there, all the way over to the right. Then here's my piece that's going to pull out, and it's going to go behind, and I'm going to make it flush and centered. And then that should make it flush with this side right there. Then if I flip that over, the adhesive is going to go on this right side.
On the back.
Just on the bag. That, she just adhered that, and then I'm going to push this down. Okay, let me turn it back over. So your adhesive underneath is on this side. So this piece is going to pull that way. Okay, now my top piece is going to be the same, but the opposite. So it's going to be flush here, and flush here, and I'm going to adhere it on the right side again, right on the back. Alright, so now that's there. So now when I pull this piece, that piece is going to go out as well. And once we have it in the card, it'll be a little more stable. Okay, so the next part that is very important is now we're going to adhere this into here. So you want to make sure that you don't get any adhesive on these parts that come out, otherwise it won't come out. So you have to be very careful to just get your adhesive on the top and bottom. But before we stick that in, let's make a notch out with, and I'm going to use a circle punch, anywhere from 1 inch to 1 1/4, 1 1/2 inch punch. Okay, before we adhere, we're gonna punch our notch out. So I just used
Is it just halfway in the center?
1 1/4. Yes, let me show you on mine. And I've tucked that in there. So just, you want to do a notch halfway, both. Oh, I guess you don't need it through both, huh? Just the top one's fine. Yeah, and that's where you're going to put your brad, and it's going to come through.
So now do we adhere this?
Yes. And you want to be extra careful, again, not to put adhesive on the parts that slide. So maybe as she does the back, and she could stick that in and then glue the top and close it. So be careful when you press it down to make sure that that part doesn't slide up or down. And it should just fit right in there flush.
And then
Yeah.
on here.
Yep. And the reason I adhere both sides is because, hang on, I just want it to be super sturdy. I don't know that anything came off up there. It didn't.
Because it is interactive and it is the piece they're going to play with.
Yeah, so you want it to be as sturdy as it can be.
Okay, so this top edge first.
Yep. And then it should be okay. All right, and this is where the magic happens. Let's see if it works.
The pressure's on. It's not. It helps if you don't hold it down.
And it works so much better when it's actually adhered to the page. When you're holding it like this, there's really nothing. This is, when I do my testing, I hold it top and bottom just so that it kind of is a little bit sturdier. So, voila! On your notch, remember that your bag is only a 1/2 inch in, so don't go past that 1/2 inch. Otherwise, you'll see your bag. So, just make sure when you notch it that you don't go in too far. All right, now we're going to put a brad through this page so that it'll be easy to grab and pull out. Now remember that our brad packaging is going to make this little pocket. So be careful and don't throw away your brad packaging. So once you open that, keep that, because it's going to make this little pocket right here. And I tried using different kinds of inks and stuff on the packaging to make it cool, and nothing really worked out, so we just left it clear and glued a little paper to it. I also, on this brad, I just tied a piece of string so it was kind of easier to grab, because, you know, some dads are older and they got those. In fact, my dad, when he holds his hand like this thumb goes, it looks like, well, I don't really know how to do it, but it looks something, his thumb goes this way. And it's just age and having hammered his whole life. Anyway, you know, old men, they might not be able to grab that. So I just tied a little piece of string on it to make it a little easier. Dad, if you're watching this video, I'm totally not making fun of your thumb.
Cutest dad ever. Okay.
All right, now on the top, you're gonna put that piece that is 3.5 by 4, the dark brown, and you're just gonna center that right on top. And then on your priceless sticker, there are 4 little striped photo corners. And I used some pop dots, and I just popped those up on each of the corners. And just remember, if you're going to add photos, that some of this stuff, like leave the backing on your pop dots so that you can put the photo in and then put those on top of it. And then this is ready to adhere to our page. And we want it to be, oh, see what I've done there? The brad's caught on it. So you may want to put a piece of tape or something over that if it's a problem. I haven't had a problem with mine doing that. So, oh, it'll be adhered down. Never mind, forget I said that. Okay, so we just want to adhere that right to the bottom.
And we're going to adhere it good so it has a good solid base, right?
Yes. And it's sturdy and then also on mine, on the priceless stickers, there's these little tabs. I just put a little tab on that side too. I don't know why, because I liked it and it was fun. And then the sticker I have up here is My Dad, My Hero. And Sarah's book is going to be a heritage album, but she's going to still stick this sticker on, and then she's going to make word strips and just cover My Dad, My Hero, but she'll still have the fun antique toys on there. And then with a piece of string, I've just tied it around that sticker and added that little star that's in your trinket.
Okay.
And then you will be all set with that page. And those are the 3 pages that we're working on this week. And then we'll be back next week and we'll work on the chip off the old block, number 1 dad, and we'll make our flower out of the pattern. So make sure you have an old McCall's pattern or something like that that you can punch some scallops out of and make a flower. So that's what we'll do next week, and we will show you what Sarah does with it heritage-wise, and then we will be back to play again next week. So thanks, friends.
Be in our video. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
You said the caress word.
I know, I said caress. Hi, friends.
Hi.
Okay, stop. Hi, friends. It's Chris, back with your blog video classes. Hi, friends. It's Chris. What do I say?